n8n has just released native Gemini nodes, which will allow you to integrate Gemini so much easier and quicker within your workflows. So by the end of this video, you have the new native Gemini nodes fully set up and you'll be able to use them within your workflows. So the Gemini node has a lot of actions that you could do. You could analyze audio, transcribe a recording, you could analyze a document, upload a file, analyze image and generate images. You could message a model, you could analyze a video, you could also generate a video, and then you can also download a video. So there are a lot of actions that you could do with this Gemini node. Okay, so to access these new nodes, the first thing that you will need to do is update your workspace. So we will go to the admin panel. Then in the admin panel, you will go on the top to manage. And then here you will see the n8n version. And the n8n version has to be on the latest version. So you will switch it to the latest version. Then you will save your changes. Okay, and then now on the dashboard, you see an orange dot. And when this turns green, that means that your workspace is updated and that you now have access to these new Gemini nodes. Okay, so our workspace is updated because the dot is turned green. So we can now open our instance. And now you have access to these new Gemini nodes. So we could press on the plus here, type in Gemini. And then here on the right side, we have the Gemini nodes. So let's, for example, say that we want to use a messenger model. And this is basically going to be the same as the messenger model of OpenAI, but now you could use it with the Gemini provider. To use the Gemini nodes, we also need the credential. So here we have to create new credential, and then we need the API key. And we can find this API key by going to aistudio.google.com. So let's go to that website. Okay, so once you are at the aistudio.google.com, then you have to sign in with your Google account, and then you will get sent to this page. And in this page, you have to go to the top bar where you see Get API Key. So you will press on that. Then here on the right, you see Create API Key. So you'll press on Create API Key. And then here, if you already have a project, you will select one of your projects. And then you can create API key an existing project. But if you do not have a project yet, then you have to create a new project, and then you will also get your API key. So then generating API key. And after that is finished, you'll get your API code. And be sure that you store it on a safe place, otherwise you will maybe lose it. So press on copy, and you'll go back to n8n. And then here you can enter it in your API key, and you can press on save. And then the connection is successful. One thing that is very important is that you also have to set up your billing details. So you will go to set up billing, and here on this tab you will go to billing, and then here you can set it up. After you did that, your connection with Gemini is completed, and now you're able to use all of the new nodes. Okay, so in n8n now in the messenger model, you are able to now connect your credential that you've just created. And now we can also select a model for this Gemini node. So the models that we can pick from are all of these Gemini models. And the one that I prefer for price quality is Gemini 2.5 Flash. But if you do not really care about the price and just want the best quality, then you will need to use the Gemini 2.5 Pro. And then in the messenger model, you can also add the prompt for the user. And if you want, you could also add a system message with a lot of other options that can help you to stop the hallucinations for your nodes. But you are not only limited to using the messenger model node from Gemini, because as I already showed you, there are a lot of actions that they have added within these nodes. So if you type in Gemini, then you're also able to generate a video. So if you press on generate video node, then here you have to select your model. And the only model that are now available on this Gemini nodes is VO2, but they will probably add VO3 later. So here you have to only add your prompt, and then you can already generate videos really fast. So as you can see, these new nodes in n8n help you to build your workflow so much quicker, because before we had these nodes, you had to make an HTTP request every time, which cost a lot of time, of course, and you have to set up everything has to go right. And now you only have to create your credential, fill in your prompt, choose the model, and you're ready to go. But you are not only limited to strictly Gemini nodes, because you could also use Gemini Tools. This is also very nice, because now you could, for example, add a generate image tool that you can add to your AI agent, but you could also add a generated video, or you could use these tools to create an MCP server for yourself, where you could use all of the Gemini tools all in one place. So this will allow you to make your workflows much more flexible, and that is obviously very nice. So some use cases where you could, for example, use these new nodes is when you are building a chat model. So here we have then the Telegram input, then we have the messenger model from Gemini, and then here we have our output. One thing that you do have to make sure when you are using this messenger model is that you only use it for actions that do not require memory. So only use this messenger model when you are, for example, using it to classify if something is true or not true. And if you do need memory, then you could just use the normal AI agent node. Then you could also, for example, use the new Gemini node when you are building your speech-to-text bot. Because in a lot of AI agents or functions where you're using the speech to text, you will normally have to use your OpenAI Whisper model. But now with the new Gemini node, you will also able to use your Gemini. So you're not only limited to OpenAI anymore, which is very nice, of course, if you are only using Gemini or you just prefer Gemini. So here we have the transcriber recording node. And with this node, you will able to first download the message here from Telegram, then send it to this node. Here it will transcribe your audio into plain text. Then you can use this text to send it to your AI agent, and then your AI agent can do all kinds of actions with the text that you have provided. This was the video about the new Gemini native node. If you liked this video, then do not forget to like and subscribe. And if you have a question, then leave a comment down below and I'll see you in the next video.